Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Welcome to another episode of the Be Happy Now show. I'm Claudia-Sam, your host, your soul connection coach. And today in my community, I've been hearing that there's a bit of physical pain, like itchy eyes and stuckness in the chest and the upper back. And I'm wondering what you're feeling, what your body is telling you. And this is an invitation for you to tune in to what's actually present for you in your body right now. The topic of today's conversation is about sustaining joy. So it might feel weird that I'm asking you this, but anytime you're hopping onto the Be Happy Now show, I would trust that you are taking this opportunity to tune in and to be with yourself, to not let the external circumstances of time, of weather, of the to-do list get in the way. And rather that you're really offering yourself this moment of reflection, of introspection, of being with yourself. So how's your body feeling? And if you're watching us on YouTube, youtube.com/Claudia-Sam. And you can chat with me and I can see you. We can chat while we're live. Now, sustaining joy, why? Why do we get to talk about sustaining joy? I want to tell you about Chloe. Now, I changed my client's name for privacy. So I'm going to tell you about Chloe. Let me tell you about Chloe. Chloe said that her life was feeling so flowy. She arrived in her coaching call and she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm receiving the money to pay 2 months of rent in advance. Even though in my business it was the month where I made the least amount of money, things are aligning and I feel trusting and I feel like fear and worry about when's the money going to come, or how is this ever going to work out, or how can my past not come running back to me as evidence that I will get in trouble. I will lose custody of my child again because I won't have the money for it." No, that fear is not there anymore. I am actually present in my body and I am present in my experience of abundance, the presence of abundance. So things are going well. I feel high vibe. I said, "Great. How great." And she said, "Okay, well, how can this be sustained? How can I sustain this joy?" And I'm curious if you've ever asked yourself, can I sustain this joy? Can I be the top of this mountain, seeing the clear view to the mountains and to the sea, having that beautiful view, right? After maybe a challenging hike, or at a time when you feel like you want to stop time and you're in joy, in such presence of joy that you just want that to last forever. Has that ever happened to you? It definitely has happened to me. So here's what we did. What I want to tell you about today, I'm going to answer some of her questions and we're going to tune in. This is an opportunity for you to tune in to when have you wanted to sustain joy, or whatever other emotion that you've wanted to sustain. What was that? What was it? And disclaimer, this isn't an episode about me telling you that you can always live happy and you'll never be sad. Okay, that's not it. And I'm curious if in the back of your mind, there was this word that came while I was talking. Maybe you're thinking, "Oh, it's not even realistic. This can't be realistic. I can't be in joy all the time. It's not real. It can't happen. And notice this resistance to sustaining joy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that word, realistic. Recently, for a few months, I noticed how that word sometimes it'll rub me the wrong way, because I want to make a new definition of this word. So tell me in the chat, what is your relationship with the word realistic? What's your relationship with the word realistic? How do you use the word realistic? Maybe you can also tune in if you're listening to the replay of this. Yeah. And after the episode, I'm going to share with you an opportunity for you to continue coaching yourself. I have a top 5 soul connection coaching questions handout for you. It's free. You'll be able to go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/top5, and you get to download the top 5 soul connection coaching questions so that you can get yourself back on track whenever you feel out of alignment with the joy or with the feeling that you want to sustain. When it comes to being quote unquote realistic, you might have heard this before. We're going to do this exercise where if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to be able to see this. If you are listening, then I'm going to try to describe this as best I can. So what I'm showing you to the camera right now is a coaster with one side that has a flower. So what I'm showing to the camera is the flower on the coaster. Okay, so that is your reality. The reality of what you see on the screen or what you're hearing is that I'm on the screen, I'm speaking to you, and your reality is that you're hearing about a coaster that has a flower on it. So your reality is you see this coaster, or you can visualize the coaster with a flower on it. My reality is that I'm seeing my screen with my notes, I'm seeing my microphone, I'm seeing the snow-peaked mountains through the window. And on this coaster, on the other side, what I'm actually seeing is no flower. I'm seeing a white coaster. You were seeing a flower coaster, I'm seeing a white coaster. That was still my reality. I'm seeing the white coaster. Does it mean that what you see is wrong from my point of view? And does it mean that what I see is wrong from your point of view? No, we both have different realities because what we see is real. My experience is real and your experience is real. So it doesn't take away, right? Each of our individual experiences doesn't take away from what we're individually experiencing. When it comes to sustaining your reality, if you enjoy the reality, if you enjoy your reality, your experience of the now, let's say like Chloe, it's joy. And it was feeling very joyful for her to be in a high vibe and to be in a trusting energy. She wanted to sustain that, to see that side of the coaster, if you will. Well, take notes if you want. There is one very simple answer to that. And what it is that you get to decide. You get to choose to continue sustaining joy or continue sustaining the experience that you're having. Yes, external circumstances come in. They do. As you walk through your experience of the day, you still get to decide what your reality is. You can let finances, whether other people's decisions, you can let that influence your reality. You can also choose to let those be side by side, and you still walking through your day with your individual reality of, I'm in joy. My experience is joy. Does that mean that when someone is hurt that you really love, that you won't be sad, that you can't have emotions? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because we're human, we still get to allow for emotions to flow through our body. And if you haven't yet listened to last week's episode about how to not let other people's fears get in your way and get in the driver's seat, I invite you to check it out. It's only 13 minutes, I think. And it's really powerful. Now, as a human, you get to let these emotions flow through you. You can also choose to let the emotion decide how you're going to move through your day. I'm going to give you an example. When my father had a stroke a few years ago, I remember receiving the phone call from his best friend, and I was, very sad and struck. And I was in shock actually for a moment. And I remember feeling very, very angry that my father was smoking, and that was my belief that had created the result of him being in the hospital. Now he is safe, he is happy, he's healthy anyway. And I remember using sticks and hitting the ground. Like, I was outside at my parents-in-law, and I remember letting go of the anger in that way. And that was a choice at that time. Could I have chosen to destroy things with that anger? Yeah. Could I have chosen to call people and use that anger and project it onto other people? I could have chosen that. But instead, I decided that in that moment, I was going to let out the anger, and I was going to be angry in that moment for myself. And then once the emotion was able to flow through me, I was able to make decisions with a clearer mind. And then I was able to make an empowered decision of, how do I want to feel now? Because I could choose to stay in anger. I totally could choose to stay in anger. But what is that really serving me? Once it flew through me, once I let it out, once I felt it and experienced it, now I was allowing myself the luxury to decide. Okay, so again, not saying that when bad stuff or things that you would say are bad in your life, whenever that you can't live them, you just have to choose joy. That's not what I'm saying. Even though the name of this show is called the Be Happy Now Show, it's because you have the power to choose how you want to feel and how you want to experience. If you want to be a victim of those circumstances and let yourself sulk into the low vibe, you can choose that. When you choose it with awareness, with intentional awareness, you're not really a victim of the emotion, because you are choosing from an empowered place. I'm going to say this again. When you are intentionally aware of how you're feeling, and you're intentionally choosing to sulk into the low vibe energies, like anger, like sadness, like things are not working out, like depression or worry or fear, when you intentionally choose to recognize that that's the energy you're in and you choose to stay there, you're no longer a victim of the emotion, because you are intentionally aware of it. So in my conversation with Chloe, what we were getting to is that she had a powerful power. She had a really great power within her, which was the power of choice, the power to choose how she was going to respond. So in her case, she's like, I don't want to let worry drive my car. Like, now joy and trust is in the driver's seat. Now, can I sustain that? Yeah, you totally can sustain that. Sometimes fear might want to steal the show, and maybe it's from the back seat, getting out of the seat belt and trying to crawl into the front seat, maybe. From an empowered, intentional, aware place, from an aligned, soulful aligned place, you can look at fear and worry and say, oh, thank you for being here. But I'm going to drive now. I'm going to drive, and I'm going to choose to be in the energy that I want. So does that make any sense? Right? Does that make any sense? There are circumstances sometimes that feel so out of our control, and we could blame and we could complain about how it's happening to us. 100%. We totally can do that. You know, I applied with Pierre Michel for residency 4 years ago here for New Zealand. It took 4 years. I can't say that I was super patient the whole time. And I felt like a victim of these circumstances. And I could have decided to entertain the thoughts of, this isn't working out. Why is it not working out? I could have totally done that. And I probably did a little bit. But it's always a decision to choose what to entertain. Okay, let me ask you these questions. What in your life right now feels like it's not working? Feels like it would be so easy to just worry about it and be afraid that it's not going to work out? Is there that thing in your life? Please feel free to comment on YouTube so that I can respond in real time. That thing that could easily, quote unquote, not work out. That thing that it could be so easy to complain about, to call your friend and then a family member and then tell your partner and then journal about it. And then 2 days later, continue that low vibe, like entertaining that low vibe. It totally could be a choice. And again, if you choose that with awareness, you're in empowered decision-making. So if in your life you see that there's this thing that you could sulk in, that you could complain about, that you could blame, that it's not working for you, see that and tune into how your body is feeling. Tune into whether or not you actually do want to give that power. And what do you want to choose instead? What conversation would you like to entertain instead? For Chloe, it was, wow, these things are working out. Wow, I did receive 2 months of rent money in advance. Wow, I'm developing this partnership with my fiance that is actually much more supportive than I've ever had in my past relationships. Wow, I am actually seeing how the communication with my family is smooth and it's in a collaborative energy instead of a fight or blaming or convincing energy. Those are all things to celebrate and that you can choose to use as evidence to sustain joy and trust. So where in your life right now can you see that things are working? Where in your life can you see that things are working? And you're at choice to see them or to see all the other things that are not. It's a choice. So when you are faced with the choice, will I continue to trust in this specific moment, or will I choose to worry? It's really a choice. It's in an instant of choice. And if you're like, well, I don't know how to choose because it feels like I don't have the choice, I get it. That's why I do what I do, to help you move through that and consistently access your inner confidence so that you can make empowered decisions to be in your soul alignment. If you want to even get a sneak peek of what that can look like, I have a free handout for you. It's my top 5 soul connection coaching questions PDF. There's 5 questions and it's a fillable PDF. So you can actually use it directly on your computer or on your phone and fill it out. You can also print it. So go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/top and then number 5, TOP 5, the number 5. And then you could just download your own free copy. Okay. Thank you for being here. And I hope that this has inspired you to recognize that inner power that you have, because you're human. What would you be without this power of choice? this power of sustaining the energy that you want. And please know, if you choose to stay in like grief and sadness, that's all okay. It's all okay. There is no judgment around that. And every single person part of my community also knows that. They get to come into the community whether they're feeling like things are not working out and they feel stuck in that low vibe, and it's okay to request help. It's also okay to keep wanting to sustain the joy and to keep seeing the things that are working out. There can be support in both sides. Because I remember a client saying, well, I don't know what to be coached on. I feel really good. Great. Where can we extend this greatness to other parts of your life? Let's shine the light brighter. Let's continue making these empowered decisions in all these different areas of your life so that it can feel easy, so that trust can be like this muscle that it's ready to trust at any time. Because something that you might think is a reality, maybe if we use this word again, the reality, quote unquote, can be that external circumstance try to come in your way, like rocks on the road being thrown by bigger trucks on the road. We can't control that the rocks will come where will they hit the car? But we most likely know that if we're driving the car and we're out there, we might receive rocks now and again. So the empowered decision making comes in how you handle that and the way that you choose to move through that. And I know that if you're here, it's because you want to be this empowered decision maker, and you want to be able to move through life. And even if, for example, you're feeling the itchy eyes or the stuckness in the chest, what do you choose your experience to be? What do you want your experience of this physical sensation to be like? Do you want to make it wrong about you, that you're not good enough, that you're not in the right place? Maybe you could choose to ponder and just check in. Hey, what are you saying, body? You could choose that. You could also choose to ignore it. It's your choice. So what's the choice you're going to make right now to continue this alignment within you? Take a deep breath in and out. Beautiful. And if it does feel like a continuum of alignment, go and get the top 5 soul connection coaching questions, hand out, and continue the work on your own time. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube to the channel Coach Claudia-Sam. And then if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.